Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live and it's the post-match reaction of Arsenal's 1-0 loss to Nottingham Forest. Another 3 points drop to a team either battling relegation in the relegation zone or in the lower part of the table. It's not good enough. It looked like a non-starter today, to be fair as well. It didn't look like Arsenal players had bought into Mikel Arteta's ideas of finishing off the season well and taking that one path. It looked like they took the other path straight to Gatwick Airport and on their holidays. I'm joined by Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, how you doing, mate? Yeah, not too bad, I suppose. I don't even know what that was.
Yeah.
Seriously, I don't know what I've just watched. I thought last week's performance against Brighton was bad, but at least there was times in that game where they showed something. This was just, as you just mentioned there, it was a non-starter.
Mm.
It was pathetic.
Yeah, it was.
It was pathetic. It's not good enough. We've praised them all season. We've praised these players all season, and rightly so. And some of them we've put right up on the highest ladder, and rightly so.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to say how it is in this last few games. They've been absolutely disgusting, and they've been pathetic, and they've let the fans down. Right?
Yeah.
They have, because they've gone out there against Brighton, and they've gone out there against Forest today, and have just not given a damn. They don't care. We've watched enough of Arsenal this season to know what they're like, and I know they've given up, and that is not good enough. That's not good enough for the away fans that have gone up to watch them today, that has paid good money. And I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna say it, and I don't think I've ever said this before regarding an Arsenal fan as an Arsenal fan. They should give them their money back today. It was awful. We do ratings, right? They don't deserve a rating today. They need a barracking, because that was disgusting. That was awful. That was pathetic from each and every. Well, not everyone. Maybe 2 or 3 players. You could sort of, maybe say a few good things about, but the rest of them just didn't want to know. And yeah, it's just. And what it is, it's you're going to have the fans from other sides, getting on the back of them now, right? And partly they're going to have a point, because it does look like, to a degree, especially over the last 2 games, they're just like gone, and threw it away. But I can't forgive that the fact that they literally not gone out there, at least given Man City to say, go and win that game. Go and win your match to win the title. We can't even do that against Brighton at home and Forest, who are struggling. And one thing I will to say, look, good, first of all, congratulations to Man City, worthy winners. Well done to Nottingham Forest for staying up. But let's face it, Jamie Carragher was giving Nottingham Forest a lot of praise today. They were shit. They were shit. And don't let any. I watch enough football to know a team when they're not winning, a good team or not. They are awful, absolutely awful. And we made them look, average, half good, and that's how bad we were.
Yeah, it was everything you said and more. Abject, flat. Look, we knew that the league was done. But what you want the players to do is you want the players to play like there's still something to play for, to give the fans that travel to Nottingham something to cheer about, and just to not let the season end in the way it's ended. You're letting, like, it was so flat. It was so frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
I didn't want to turn it off, but I didn't want to watch it anymore.
Same.
It was rubbish. It was rubbish. I don't know what Mikel Arteta was doing with his selection. I don't know
mate.
with his formation.
What was
I don't
it?
know what he was doing once he realised it wasn't working. But the players weren't playing for any points today. The players weren't playing to get any more points in the league. They played like City had won the league. There was nothing for them to fight for, and they showed it in their droves. And that is not good enough.
But even if they have won the league before kickoff,
I never want to watch an Arsenal team ever play like it's not worth it. It's the game done. Don't ever turn up and expect us to support you, and you put in a performance like that. And these are words coming from someone who finds it hard to rip you apart after the season you've had. But I'm not going to ignore the Brighton game. Poor. I'm not going to ignore this game. Poor. It's. I don't like using the words a disgrace, but this was a disgrace today.
it was that, yeah.
It was a disgrace to wear the Arsenal badge and stroll around the pitch like there was a few players that were putting in energy and effort, but there weren't enough. You can't have two players on the pitch are putting in effort and energy, and the rest are like it's just going through the motions. It was more than not good enough, and especially in a time where Arsenal fans are standing there getting berated by other fans, back in their club, speaking up for every single player that wears that shirt, and you put in a performance like that against Nottingham Forest. You should be disgusted with yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. But I mean, I'm not getting Mikel Arteta out of this because I'm still. I don't know what he was doing with the starting lineup. It totally confused me. As soon as I see that starting lineup, first thing I said, Tierney's gone. He's left. There must have been something going on during the week where he's left, because how do you play him in Kior in front of Tierney? I have no idea. I can't believe that I'm saying he must have gone. It's just for him not to play him in that game. I really do think he's gone, because I think if I was Tierney, I think I would have had enough, to be honest with you. Because that's not the first time this season they've done that to him. And I tell you what, I wouldn't blame him now. I'm not going overreacting because of the game's result. This is a different thing now. I'm talking about that formation. I don't know what he was doing. He started Partey at right back, and then he moved him in. Then all of a sudden he went into the middle. Yeah, it was weird. It was just Ben White was back in at centre back, and then after 20 minutes he was at right back again. I couldn't work out what was going on. It was strange. It was really, really strange. And I think Mikel Arteta has got a lot to blame for this. And what's going on with Emile Smith-Rowe?
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
When I'm not being funny, right? How does Patrick Vieira, how does Fabio Vieira get on the pitch and Emile Smith-Rowe don't? I have no idea. I'm serious. And again, like Tierney, is he gone? You know, is Smith-Rowe gone? Or is there something else? Am I missing something here? But yeah, it was awful all round. It was just an absolute terrible. I thought we got it wrong, Arteta. I thought the performance was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I'll quickly go through these comments before we get onto the player ratings. Simon says, Williams, shocking performance. The substitutes baffled me. Just asking, do you two not have a little bit of a concern about decisions from the manager?
Yeah.
I don't have a concern in terms of what Si's talking about, because I know that Si is talking about a concern in terms of a concern about the manager itself. That's what
right.
Si's talking about.
Mm.
Do you have worry about Mikel Arteta's ability to change things as a manager in general? No, I don't. I worry about there are issues I've had with his decision making, but I also have seen him make decisions which I've not seen him make again. So again, for me, it's a clear. It's clear that he's again still learning, but some of the decisions are just don't make sense to me. William Saliba and Zinchenko have been massive misses towards the end of the season. We don't build anything from the back to the midfield to the attack. I think there is definitely something to play in the Saliba missing and Zinchenko, but Zinchenko's was definitely down to form as well. But I can't pinpoint the downfall of Arsenal season to just one player or two players. I think it's got more to do with the experience, the mentality, the just everything, the mental fatigue. This team just haven't got enough in the tank to compete consistently at the level they set at the start of the season to the end of the season. And that is not anything to be ashamed of. This is a starting point for next season to make sure we build on that and we can sustain that even longer. That's the whole point. The problem would be if we was to go into the transfer window and not make any big signings, not make any signings which would elevate this squad. That would be my concern. But I don't see us doing that. She says, you are right, Steve. They've given up when our captain said on the telly, yeah, it's pretty much done. Now the fight has gone. Disappointing mentality and still the same. It is still the same. We have the confidence team. Couldn't even work that one out there. No excuses for that today, boys. Arteta has next season for me to turn this around. He has no idea of how to change things. Why bring on Vieira? We have Elmer Smith Rowe. What's Elmer Smith Rowe got to do? If you don't want him, sell him. I do understand the frustration about Elmer Smith Rowe, but Elmer Smith Rowe has been out for a whole season. Like, we cannot get away from that. Like, we can't get away from the fact that Emil Smith Rowe was injured towards the end of last season from basically the start of this season. So Emil Smith Rowe is near enough missed a year of football. So I'd probably say that Emil Smith Rowe not playing is more. I wouldn't bring in the whole sell him situation. I don't think that's the case. I really don't. You can't go from a player who scores 12 goals last season, 10 assists, and is one of our best players to not rating him at all and thinking about selling him. That doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. The playing Fabio Vieira above him doesn't make sense to me. But I'd put it more down to a fitness thing rather than anything. In what galaxy does Party start a right back? I didn't understand that as well. I didn't understand that. Again, it was just more gymnastics to try and fit people in. Any news on Saliba's new contract? Steve? Any news on Saliba's new contract?
No, mate. He's never been a problem with Saliba's contract. He's had talks. He's just waiting for sign. No problem at all. That's as far as I know, that's done. Same as Saka. They're just waiting to put the pen to sign it off.
All right, cool. Player ratings now. Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah, nothing. One of the, he didn't do anything wrong. Wasn't his fault. None of this. 6 out of 10. So
6 for Ramsdale.
Can't blame him for anything.
Gabriel.
Yeah, I thought the striker gave him a lot of problem all day long. Wasn't great. 5.
5 for Gabriel.
kept getting involved too much with other players, moaning, pushing, you know, getting sort of frustrated. You know, his mentality's got to be right. Do you know what I mean? We can't. I think this is probably what Arteta's worried about with some of our players. I think he's probably looking at the mentality of Manchester City and the way they go about things, and that's what he wants from Arsenal players. So I don't think he's going to be very happy with that. And yeah, no. but there's quite a few players that you could. We can't get too thingy over because it's of over a few games. You know, again, over the majority of the season, we've been absolutely outstanding, and for most of it, we've been the best team in the Premier League. That would always be, but we've got to a point where the mentality hasn't been right in the last few games. So
yeah, but equally, you can't just ignore. You can't go through the whole season praising them, and then when it gets to a bad patch, because it's not even a bad game. It's not a bad game because there has been moments in the season where we've not played well in a game, and we've come away with dropped points. Yeah. So it's not a case. And in them games, I would say more so. We've kind of just brushed it under the carpet. Oh, it was a bad day at the office. Oh, we'll move on. We'll see how they recover from this. Next week, they have recovered. It might be a draw. It might be a tight game, but still a win. And we start building up again. This patch has been a serious problem.
Yeah.
Has been a serious problem.
Yeah. Do you know why I say it's mentality, Keir? It's because when you go through a little bit of a bad patch. I mean, look. I mean, what you said there. We played really well. People keep harping on about these draws we had, right? I mean, I'm thinking the people didn't actually watch the games because we was very good against Liverpool, very good against West Ham, and very good at Southampton. It was just mistakes in those games that made us get draws. Let's say it how it's right. You know, Newcastle was incredible, right? But in the middle of that, there's been games where it's, for some reason, our mentality has been totally different from all those other games. Hence the Brighton, hence today, hence against Man City. In those 3 games, we seem to have the mentality hasn't been right at all for some reason. And that's got to be fixed. And that's what he's got to sort out.
I think against Brighton, I don't think they believed that City would drop points and that they can go on and win this league still. I don't think they believed it. And that's how I looked at it, and that's how they played. We had a patch for about 5 minutes in that Brighton game, but it was the same. It was very similar how we played them in the Cup. We looked like we could get something out of this game. Both teams a little bit cautious. Bang, Brighton score, game over. Exactly the same the other day. And yeah, it's like I said before, we can't just gloss over. You can kind of not dig the team out too much in those games where it's a one-off game, but this has been a section of the season. This is a very bad run, and yeah, it's the team needs to raise the levels in the transfer market mentally. And they've got to use these experiences as well. Jacob Kiwior.
Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for him today. He obviously is not. He's not a left back. I mean, that stood out a mile. Why he was put out there, I really have no idea. He didn't have a lot to do because there wasn't really nothing coming down his side, and he's not one of these fullbacks that goes marauding down the wings. So he was one of these players who was a bit surplus to requirements, if you like. Just wasn't really. I didn't hardly was involved in the game. So yeah, again, 5.
All right, 5 for Kiwior. Ben White.
Yeah, again, very, very similar. He wasn't too bad. Probably one of the better players in the first half. I thought he dropped off a bit in the second half. Made a mistake that nearly led to another goal. But yeah, probably maybe you could turn around and say he was probably the better of our defenders. But because I'd give him a 5 as well.
Can't. I'd probably say Ben White was maybe the better ones because he just isn't.
Yeah.
He
I was
wasn't.
thinking this for 6. I
He
was
wasn't
thinking
like
of
too
6.
involved. But on the flip side, it shouldn't be higher because he needs to be involved. He needs to be bombing down that right. He needs to be
Yeah.
overlapping and working with Saka, and that's not happened in the last. I'd have to say a fair few amount of games. Ben White has not been overlapping. It's why I
think.
said it. It's why I said it the other week, where I think we should. I think we should go out and get a right back. If we can get a better right back than what Ben White is, and Tomiyasu is the backup to that, then do it. I'd rather that and then go out and get another centre back who you're going to cost 30 mil. And yeah, I think I like Ben White as a centre back. I like him as a right back.
Would you take Cancelo then? All the rumours, right
Oh
back?
yeah, 100%.
As a right back?
100%.
I know he played left back. I know he played left back for City, but he is a right back.
Yeah, 100%. I would take Cancelo. That's the kind of signing I think Arsenal should be making. Then you've got Kidior, White, Gabriel. You've got Saliba, and then you'd have Cancelo as your right back. You're due to get a left back still, unless they rate Walters now if they think he's ready.
A friend of ours, Kiz, I won't mention his name, but you probably know what I'm talking about. He mentioned to me that there was talk of a swap deal with Cancelo and Tierney. So, because 60 million, because they want 60 million.
They want 60.
That's what they say.
How much did they get from the loan spell at Bayern Munich then? Not much.
I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure. But his contract runs out there, doesn't it? They've been at the end of the season at Bayern. So whether he'll stay there, who knows? They've got the option to buy him. Bayern.
460.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what shall I say? How did this even go? Xhaka. We'll do Xhaka because he was like a left back-esque kind of position.
Yeah, just non-existent. Didn't know he was on the pitch, did you? So this is where it starts to get bad. You know, as we go further up the pitch, because there was nothing for me. You know, this is where the marks get even worse. I thought our defenders weren't too bad. You know, 5, 6 for all of them. Do you know what I mean? I could give them a 6, really. Yeah. Thinking about it, they didn't do a lot wrong. The defence, because Forest didn't offer anything really, did they? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was, they just sat back, wasted time, got their goal, blah de blah. But Xhaka, again, non-existent. Don't remember anything he did. Wasn't in the game. Wasn't his full self that we see. Didn't see him going forward. Wasn't getting in the box like we know. If you start off with a 5, he come on and did nothing. So it's got to be a 4. What did you think? I mean, did you? I didn't just. I don't know. I just didn't notice him doing anything. I think he wasn't.
He wasn't in the game at all. At all. I thought I saw him in the forward position once, pretty early in the game, but at that point I couldn't work out who was playing where, because it wasn't long until he was back in at left back or sitting in midfield, and most of the time he did sit in the midfield, but in a kind of nowhere position where he was non-effective. He wasn't effective as a midfielder, and he wasn't in a left back position because Kidior was taking up that position. So I just don't know where he was the whole game. Yeah, it was just not good. Jorginho.
Jorginho, I thought was maybe our best player. I thought he was all right. I thought he tried to control the ball in the middle of the park. I thought he passed it off well when he could. He tried, if more than anything. You can't really say much about any player. He was unlucky with his shot, which was just went wide of the post. For me, he wasn't too bad today, Jorginho. So, like Ramsdale, I'm going to give him a 6.
6. I suppose it would be Thomas Partey at right back. Uh,
Yeah, well, he was a bit of
yeah,
right
bit
back,
of midfield, bit of right back, bit of midfield.
bit of right back,
Again,
bit of midfield. Yeah,
Thomas Partey.
yeah, bit of right back, bit of midfield. Not, not great really. Any of them really. He didn't. Again, very pad a puff. Wasn't in the game. It's very difficult to say anything good about anybody today. I'd say he was a little bit more involved than certainly what Xhaka was today. I'd give him that. But apart from that, we didn't see much from him. He didn't like we've seen him early in the season, sort of grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Force his way through the midfield. We, didn't see him winning any tackles really. Again, he's just seemed to be there. So I'm gonna give him a 5. And I know Thomas Partey's been fantastic all this season, but I do wonder if he's in Mikel Arteta's plans to start next season. And I'm not saying that because Partey's a bad player. I do wonder it sometimes. I mean, once all this has died down, and we can sort of reevaluate the season as a whole. Instead of sort of this last few games. Because it might be our hearts talking and heads more than anything else. But yeah, I've often thought especially in the last couple of weeks, whether Partey is going to be that player who's going to say sit with Rice or sit with Casado in that midfield. Maybe because of his age, maybe because of his mobility. Does Arteta want someone who can get about the pitch a lot more, like a younger person? Is he looking at Casado and Rice? So, but then again, it wouldn't be a bad thing if you had Partey on the bench. This is what you want. You want. That's the type of squad you want. But today, I give him a 5. I don't know what you think about Partey going forward, but I just want just a thought.
I don't see a world where Arsenal let Partey go.
Oh no, I don't mean get him go. No, I wouldn't say let him go.
It's also hard to see a completely midfield pair in 2 next season from the start. You may try and wean him out with the likes of if Rice is coming in. But yeah, I can't look past. Partey's not been good for the last, let's say, 10 games to his level. It's just. But
so, would you say when we needed him most, like he is? Do you think if you're manager, do you think when we needed you most?
I can't really put that down because where's the team been in the last 10 games?
Well, yeah, true.
Where's this team been in the last 10 games? Scattergun all over the place, no consistency. There and that, and what has that been? What has that boiled down to? So it'd be interesting to see, because the All or Nothing is out again, isn't it? So it'd be interesting to see what changed. If the World Cup had, because one thing I did notice, and I think Jamie Carragher made a good point. There was a lot of talk about how Arsenal have sort of have had a downfall since Saliba has been gone and conceded goals. But he's right. We were conceding goals after we came back from the World Cup. And if we remember, when we came back from the World Cup, there was a lot of talk about how we weren't as tight in defence, how it weren't as this, it weren't as that. There's something not the same as what it was before. But then that was overshadowed by the fact we were still getting results. And that has then come to a point where you can't. I don't know how many times we said it ourselves. We can't keep doing this. We can't keep going from behind and coming back and winning games. We can't keep starting games off poorly and then having to come back. And I just feel like it's got to a point in the season where that's just got too much. We carried on playing the way we were playing, and it's just got too much. This team is nowhere near the same efficiency, the same as clinical as they were in that first half of the season. It's not even close. They were cold as ice before the World Cup.
Yeah,
cold as ice. No one could touch them. They were fearless. They were fearless. We came out that Man United game annoyed because we should have got something out of it. Annoyed, and that's at Man United. That's Old Trafford. And we've done that many a times this season. We're going to other teams' grounds and being annoyed that we've not got 4 points, or we could have done better, or we should have won that game a lot easier. That was not happening in this second half of the season. It was not cold. It was, we were playing all right, but overall as a team, as a collection, it's been way off. Off.
Yeah.
Odegaard.
Yeah, I mean, not great again. Plenty effort. You know, he always gives effort, but just not enough from him today. Not enough creativity in the midfield. Awful pass for the goal.
He was again.
It's the second
That's
time
the third
he's done
one.
it. It was a third. It was like carbon copy, isn't it?
And it was only a couple of weeks ago that he did that same one.
Exactly the same, yeah. Absolutely exactly the same. So, but he was one of the ones that you could say were trying. Other than that, you know, he does try. You can never doubt him for that. But he did. You know, if you're talking about getting a point, not that a point would have done anything, but he was probably the reason why we actually lost the game in the end because of the mistake. Again, just mistakes. That's all I keep saying. You know, individual mistakes. Maybe not today because that was pathetic today. But that was a collective thing. But I'll give him. Yeah, because he gave away for the goal. It's got to be. He wasn't. I'm going to give him a 5 because he wasn't. If I give him a 4. Because he gave for the pass, I could give him a 4 for the pass, but no, I'm going to give him a 5.
Right, 5 for Martin Odegaard. Trossard.
I thought he was terrible. I did that again. I really thought he was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he was bad. He was bad last week, and he was really bad this week. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to some of these players, Kears. I really don't. They've gone from up here to here, and I just think it's like, do you know what? I think they believed so much that they was going to win the title. Right? Do you remember I used to say this team's got no fear. People used to say to me used to have this argument, right, about people, the experience. Arsenal ain't got the experience. I'm saying no. But this team's got no fear. You can see it on the pitch. There's no fear in these people. They don't care. They go out there and they think we're the best. No one's better than us. We're just gonna whoever we play. We're just gonna wipe off the planet. Even the odd ones that we lose, like you said, Man United. We come away with thinking what happened there. We should have won. Right? There's no fear. They don't care who they play. They went to Liverpool, Anfield. No fear. Bang bang 2-0. They don't care who you are or what you are. But I think they came up against Man City, got hammered 4-1, and I think they come off that park, and every one of them thought,
"We're miles off."
Hold on a minute, we are way off, aren't we?
Yeah,
we're not what we are.
They did.
We're not there yet. We thought we were. We thought we was the dog's bollocks, but we ain't. And I think ever since that day, the mentality of them's gone.
But I think it happened in the Liverpool game.
Changed. Yeah.
I think it happened in the Liverpool game. And I look at players like Zinchenko, and I think he thought that was it. This was our chance. This was our chance to get points over a team that could potentially still take points off of Man City, which is a massive thing. That's like playing Man City. If you can beat a team that's going to beat your direct rivals, that's like you getting. That's like the 6-pointer. That's like you taking the points off them. And I believe Zinchenko's face, there's so much you can get. Like, people talk about body language, and the fact that no one has pointed that out. He had his, and it's all over the camera as well. He had his head in his hands. We drew 2-2. There was still 10 games left, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
Like, why are we acting? Was it 8 games left? 8 games left. Why are we acting like the game's over? But you've got one of your main players, a player that's won 3 league titles. He's been there, seen it, done it, smelt it. He lived it, and he's got his head in his hands with this many games left. I feel like he thought that was it, and then we had, what do we have? The West Ham after that, Southampton, Man City. So those the run starts. The run starts. Chelsea, we get 3 points. We're back in it. Newcastle, we're back in it. They're seeing Man City just churn wins, churn over wins. And the talk, the people, these kids aren't like back in the day. Oh, don't read the paper, stay offline, don't get involved. They don't care. They've been brought up in it, so they have the mentality of, we can handle that. No, we can handle that. We can see that. We can handle it. We just brush it off. We don't. I'm not going to get too hyped about praise. I'm not going to get too down about criticism. I'm middle ground. These kids know. These kids are hearing Man City are savages. They're going to go on an unbeaten, and they were. Everyone just ticking over wins, not dropping points. Oh, they're looking at it next to them and they're like, no, we really have messed up.
And I think when they're players, when they're young players, the ones that we always said, look, they've got it doesn't matter about their experience.
When they dropped off,
but I think the reason why they did drop off, right, was for the reason of our winners, right? Our winners, probably you could put Xhaka into that, the Zinchenko's into that, the Jesus is into that. As you said, their body language and the way they played all of a sudden just
changed.
So
it changed.
It changed. So where they changed, you've got Saka and Martinelli, and you're looking at them and you're thinking, and they're looking at those winners and they're thinking to themselves, well, hold on a minute, they look, they seem that they might have been in training. Shinko might have been going, for God's sake, do you know what I mean? Why did we do that? We had
the one statement that Jesus made was,
that's going to make
the one statement that Jesus made was, when we get to this stage of the season, we don't change a thing. I'd say Jesus is probably the only player who didn't change. He kept his ways. He kept on hustling and bustling, trying to batten down the door, dribbling past anyone. He didn't change. He needs to get in the box more. There's criticisms of that. We can talk about the way he's striking, and if he wants to be the number 9 that he was brought in to be, he needs to stay up front more and needs to be in the box. But that, I think that's just, I think it's his first season in a new team where he's the main man. I think he's trying to do everything. He needs to be more selfish and stay a little bit higher in that box more, because if we ain't got a striker in the box, we ain't going to score as many goals, and he certainly ain't going to be hitting those high double figures either. And he can do it because he gets enough chances as well. He gets enough chances. But everyone else has changed. Zinchenko changed 100%. We're talking about Zinchenko even in January, February, player of the month. March, April, May, he's one of the worst players in the team. Like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because the way and the teams that we've been dropping points to. Like, we can't excuse points dropped against West Ham, Southampton, and then we pick up points against Chelsea and Newcastle away from home. Like, come on. Drop points to Brighton at home. Yeah, Brighton are good, but this is at home. That's a tough 1-0 win at home. Tough 2-1, 2-0 win. Yeah.
Everybody thought we was going to lose at Newcastle. Everybody was, you're not beating Newcastle. No way. Nobody wins it. Nobody beats Newcastle. You get up there, their crowd and that. We silenced them after 20 minutes. But in between that, you've got these other performances. And it's like, it's a strange one. But I definitely agree with the Zinchenko thing. I didn't for a while. I didn't think it was one of them things, but I think I do now.
All right, let's get through this. We're only at Trossard. Trossard, what'd you give him?
4. He's like
4.
again. He's. Do you know what? Because of like they've played so well, I'm feeling like I'm giving them an higher mark than what they should. I mean, really, he should get a 3. He was non-entity, but I give him 4.
Saka.
Again, a couple of times he ran at people, but he's just not the Saka. He's knackered. He's gone.
He's knackered.
We need someone who can help him out because we've got no one. Someone said to me about, I can't remember who it was there, but someone said, "Oh, Trossard can play over there and Emil Smith Rowe." If we're going for win titles and all that, we can't. We can't do that. I don't want to hear it. We can't. I'm not having like someone who can play over there every now and then. We need a stereotypical, bang on, right-sided player who can give him some help. Yeah, and I'm not on about Reece Nelson who can pop over there every now and then. We don't know if he can play on the left or the right. We don't know which one's his best. We need someone. Arteta needs to convince. With Saka's concerned, we need Arteta to go and convince someone like a Elise, a Moussa Diaby, a Pedro Neto, someone of them names of that ilk to come into our squad. That's what he's got to do.
He needs to do it because it's getting to this point where people are starting to criticise Saka for his performances when it's clear it's the same. Do you know what the most annoying thing is? It's the same point every season because he plays pretty much every game up until we get to March, April, and his performances start to get inconsistent. Then he'll put in score a couple of goals. But then he has games, and I swear I mentioned this earlier in the season, then he has games where he's very quiet for the game, but he might get an assist and a goal. And then it's kind of overshadowed how he's played. But it's clear because he's tired. The guy's got no legs in him left. He is tired. At the start of the season, he is relentless, batting down the door, taking you on. One-on-ones, it doesn't matter who you are, he's taking you on. Today, you could see him thinking. It's predictable because he's not sharp enough. It's too much for him. It's far too much. Stop talking about he can play 50 games because you're not going to get the best out of him. You're going to play him for 50 games. You'll get the best out of him if you're playing for 30 games. You'll get the best out of Kevin De Bruyne gets dropped. Haaland gets dropped so that he can be at the peak condition in every game. If you keep burning people out and playing them to the last drop of blood, you're never going to get top performance consistently.
Yeah, I agree, mate. 100%.
What are you giving Saka?
5. I give him 5. Yeah.
Gabby Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it seemed that he wanted to do everything himself, running about. He never had a good game. Do you know what I mean? There was plenty of effort there, but yeah, again, 5. I give him a 5. There's some high 5s, there's some low 5.
I don't think anyone really deserves anything today.
No,
there was nothing.
There were some 5s that I've given that were better than some other 5s. But
the subs, anyone stand out?
I thought Tierney did all right. You know, when he came on.
Tierney.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to give him, what do we give subs? You know, a high 5. You know, for Tierney, you know, he did all right.
Was on Vieira, Nelson.
Don't know why. Yeah, they didn't do anything, did they?
Yeah.
Did Nelson come on?
No.
He's
injured. He's sick. He's sick. He was sick there.
Yeah.
Mikel Arteta.
I thought we got it wrong. I thought we got the lineup. I was totally confused with what he was doing. And he
done it last season. He done it last season when Tierney was out.
Yeah,
he put Xhaka in at left back. He put Martinelli at left back, didn't he? Remember that game?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Yeah, I mean, I can't see why Tierney didn't start. I thought his substitutes were strange, a bit weird. I don't know why Smith Rowe didn't come on. Mm-hmm. I thought the people he took off was strange. Bringing Xhaka off, I thought was, mind you, today he could have brought anyone off. You know, I don't think it would have mattered. Xhaka looked like he was glad to get off. he just didn't look bothered. But I'll tell you, you got it wrong today. So 4.
I was going to say you can't give him any more than what you've given the players.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not.
Also, there's a comment in there. Steve, what are the 2 main positions that Arsenal need to strengthen in the summer to continue competing at the top? We'll probably definitely do more of this on Tuesday as well. So if anyone wants to join the show on Tuesday, 8:00, we're definitely going to be speaking about summer transfers and what Arsenal need going forward. But quickly, Steve, what do you think Arsenal need?
Well, Garth, if you're talking about like in our first 11 as a starting, which I assume that's what you're meaning, because we still do need squad players as well. There's no doubt about that, because we have got a very small squad. But if you're talking about the starting 11, we definitely obviously need a midfield player in there. Obviously, Xhaka's going, so we're going to need like at least 1 or 2 midfield players, maybe a Declan Rice. Where you said just 2 players, I'm going to say a midfield player. And personally, probably controversially, I think we need a right back.
Yeah,
I really think we need a right back.
I don't think it's controversial at all.
So a lot of people I've spoke to do, but it's like I really think a right back is a priority position for us, because we need someone who's a winner. We need someone who can bomb down that right side for fun, who can link up with Saka, and we need someone who can see. Look, Ben White can't come in inverted in midfield, but Zinchenko can. Kentello certainly can, because he did it all day long for Man City. So yeah, to answer the question, I would like to see next season 2 players, specifically Cancelo at right back, and maybe Declan Rice, so right back and a midfield player.
See, not only did you not just get positions, Garth, you got players' names as well. What more can you ask for? Thank you, everyone who has joined us today. Garth, Russ, Simon, thank you for getting in the comment section there. Make sure you press that like and that share button as well. Don't be shy. If you are new to the show, make sure you press that like and subscribe button. Any final words, Steve?
Oh, mate, I think we've sort of used every word we can. It was poor today. Again, it's not good enough. Congratulations, Manchester City, an absolutely beast of a football team, and you know we certainly come up second best, but it wasn't in the end. It wasn't a close second best. You know, they're still way ahead of us. Mikel Arteta's got a lot of work to do in the summer. I mean, we always knew we had work to do, you know, in the summer. But this Manchester City team is, I mean, I thought they was good, but I don't think I thought they was this good. I mean, they could arguably be the best ever Premier League team ever. So, yeah.
It could well be. When there's a lot of comparisons to Sir Alex Ferguson at the moment, when you've seen some of the big pundits from the side of the Man United side doing all the gymnastics in the world to still keep Sir Alex Ferguson's name above Pep Guardiola's, you know that Manchester City are a team that are there and thereabouts in the conversations, at least.
Yeah. What I will say, I mean, we might be able to get into this more Monday night on the Super 6, and don't miss that, everybody. They say that'd be quite good. But just throwing my little bit in about that is that I think Pep Guardiola's a better coach. I don't think anybody can argue with that. That he's a better coach than Ferguson. And Ferguson's a better sort of manager, if you like, a man manager. One of the best. So yeah, if you could combine those two together. But I was actually coaching football on the pitch. That the way to change teams, the way to change up play. I don't think there's anybody ever been better than Pep Guardiola.
It'd be very interesting to see how Alex Ferguson would have adapted to the style of Pep in the Premier League, because that's one thing that Sir Alex Ferguson was absolutely outstanding at doing, was whoever came knocking the door that was the new great hope. He adapted his team, changed it, and made sure that they would come on top eventually. As Steve said, make sure you join us at 8 o'clock tomorrow for the Super Six podcast, where inevitably we will be getting Monday, where we will be getting our asses handed to ourselves by Kevin non-stop. But that's just a lie. That's just the way it goes. Who's this? Nathan giving his 2 pence worth.
Yeah, he'll probably be there and all doing it, giving his bit and all.
I mean, he can try, but don't worry, I've got plenty to say about Man United fans. That is all we have time for. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, people. Peace out, stay safe, and wash your hands.